So today we're tackling a big one, Erich Maria Remarque's All Quiet on the Western Front. We're going to dig into why this book, written almost a century ago, is still considered one of the most powerful anti-war novels ever written, period.
What makes this book so powerful? Well, it's brutally real. The author, Erich Maria Remarque, wasn't just making this up. He was a German soldier who actually lived through the hell of World War I. And that firsthand experience is exactly why the book was so dangerous to the Nazis. It told the truth about war that they really didn't want people to hear.
And this right here, this is the key to the whole book. Remarque says from the get-go that he's not pointing fingers or trying to assign blame. His focus is on something much deeper. The internal damage, the way the war just hollowed out these young men, even the ones who didn't get hit by a shell.
So you'd think a war novel would start on the battlefield, right? Nope. This one starts in a classroom. We meet our narrator, Paul Baumer, and his buddies. They're just kids, full of these romantic ideas about glory and heroism, all being pushed to the front lines by the adults they were supposed to trust. And who's leading the charge? Their own schoolmaster, Kontorek. He gives these big patriotic speeches that convince an entire class of teenagers to enlist. He proudly calls them the Iron Youth, a name that's going to become a sick, bitter joke pretty quickly.
And just like that, everything they were ever taught gets completely blown apart. They were told that duty to your country is the greatest thing, but they learned real fast that the agony of death is stronger. They were taught that their elders were wise, but under the very first bombardment, they realized that the world their teachers described had just broken into a million pieces.
And when all those old ideas get shattered, something new and, frankly, terrifying takes their place. The rules of the front. Out there, all the old morality is gone, replaced by one simple, brutal instinct: survive.
To really get this new mindset, you have to understand the sheer scale of the loss. The book kicks off right after a battle. Paul's unit, the 2nd Company, went to the front with 150 men.
And on the day we joined them, only 80 have made it back. Do that math. That's 70 guys, almost half their friends, just gone in the blink of an eye. So you'd expect them to be devastated, right? Mourning? And yeah, for those 70 families back home, it's an absolute nightmare. But for the soldiers who survived, their reality is something else entirely.
And this moment just perfectly captures their new reality. Their first thought is about the extra food. See, the cook made food for 150 men, so the 80 who are left get double everything. It's shocking, but it shows how the primal need to survive has completely pushed aside normal human grief.
And this twisted logic, it even changes how they think about getting hurt. A blighty wound, well, that was the golden ticket. It was a wound bad enough to get you sent home, but not bad enough to kill you. It was, weirdly enough, seen as a lucky break.
So their friend, Kemmerich, gets what they first think is a good blighty. But when they go to visit him, they find out the terrible truth. His leg has been amputated.
And they look at him and they just know. They've seen this look too many times before. Paul's description is absolutely haunting. He says death is already working on him from the inside, that his face is like a photo that's been exposed twice. They know he's not making it.
So as their friend is literally dying in front of them, another friend, Mueller, does something that seems unbelievably cruel. He asks for Kemmerich's boots. They're these amazing English leather boots, a real luxury. But it's not cruelty. It's the logic of the front. Good boots can mean the difference between life and death out there. And Kemmerich, well, he's not going to need them anymore.
So it sounds like these guys have lost all their humanity, right? But in the middle of all this horror, one good thing actually comes out of it. And it's not patriotism, it's not glory, it's the bond between these soldiers. Comradeship. It's literally the only thing they have left to hold on to. And at the absolute center of their little group is this guy, Stanislaus Kaczynski, Cut for short. He's 40, an old man to them, and he's basically their survival guide. The guy has a sixth sense for finding food where there's none, for finding a dry place to sleep. He's the man you want by your side if you're going to make it through this. And the bond they all form, Paul puts it this way. He says their connection goes deeper than any other relationship, even that of lovers. It's an unspoken understanding, because they're the only people in the entire world who know what this is really like.
But here's the novel's final devastating punch. Even that incredible bond can't save them from the real tragedy. The book argues that even if these men walk away from the war alive, their lives are already over.
The soldiers start asking each other, what are you going to do when this is all over?
And the answer is just a terrifying empty space. They try to imagine a future, a normal life, but they just can't. The war is the only world they know now.
I mean, look at their plans. One just wants to get drunk. Another figures the best he can do is just stay in the army. For most of them, though, there's nothing. Just a void. They're completely disconnected from the world of jobs and school and family that they left behind.
And their friend Albert Kropp, he just nails it with one simple sentence. The war has ruined them for everything. This experience didn't just put their lives on hold, it fundamentally broke their ability to ever live a normal life again.
And that's the ultimate tragedy of the Iron Youth. At 20 years old, they feel ancient. Paul says, "Youth? That is long ago. We are old folk." The war didn't just steal their friends and their innocence. It stole their very youth.
And so, All Quiet on the Western Front leaves us with this huge, lingering question. It forces you to ask, what does a society owe the young people it sends off to fight its wars? It's not just about the ones who die, but about the ones who come back, forever changed. And that question, well, it's just as vital and heartbreaking today as it was 100 years ago.